What's up, everybody? I'm TJ.
And I'm Kelsey, and we are
the Nashville Wine Duo. Okay. When I sit here and look at you, I just see that Beth Dutton face that you made during our most recent Instagram reel that we just did.
We didn't post it yet, though.
No. But by the time this comes out, we will.
Well,
you captured Beth Dutton from Yellowstone. Her look.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
I mean, I think it's a good thing.
I don't know. I didn't really. What do you mean? Because you think she's hot?
No. It's just the way that you carried it. Like you were in. We shot this reel and we were doing like a Yellowstone kind of spoof, and you just took the character of Beth. And
I actually didn't mean to. And you know what's funny is like I haven't watched the show enough. I've watched it, but I want to get like really, really like more into it. You've watched it though. You've gotten really into it.
Yeah, Beth is a badass.
Yeah, I mean that's what I hear.
She doesn't take any crap.
But then she kind of gets tamed by this guy she falls in love with, right?
Oh, Rip.
Yeah,
Rip Wheeler.
Oh, and he's like a good guy.
Well,
like she's been treated like
he's
crap.
A bad guy.
But she's been treated like crap by men, and like she finally finds a guy that like is gonna be.
Well, yeah, but he has a whole kind of.
But he knows how to handle her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, like a wild horse.
Yeah. Well, I know I need to watch the show more because I don't think I ever got to that point where like the two of them met.
No.
Like the last thing I remember was like that little boy that gets like taken and kidnapped by these people, and they have to go get him. And I don't know. Everyone raves about the show.
It's well done. It's really, really good. So
I need to get off the true crime kick and get more into the Yellowstone.
Yes. Well, the whole reason we're talking about Yellowstone is we were sent a cool trio package of wine that is Yellowstone inspired. And so we wanted to talk about that and kind of show some love to what's going on with that.
Yeah. So it's really excited. Tim McGraw's behind this.
Who knew Tim McGraw was even in the wine industry? But yeah, him, Paramount, I guess the creators of Yellowstone in 1883 got with some friends of ours who own Fairwind Estates Winery in Napa. And they created this whole Yellowstone wine club. And it's 3 bottles. There's a red wine, which has a bear on it. There is a Cabernet. And then there is a Chardonnay. And they come in this cool little box crate. And right now we're sipping on the red blend. And that's the one we shot with the Instagram reel and everything.
Well, we shot all of them, but this is the one we had open.
Oh, yeah.
We're probably going to come up with more little fun videos.
I'm really liking this red blend. It's very dry. It's got good tannins. I don't know what the varietals are on this, but you can definitely tell it's got good tannins, good structure. It's not this berry kind of fruit bomb in your mouth.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like whenever you get a red blend, it's kind of refreshing when you drink one like this, and it's like it's dry. Like you said, it's a dry red blend. And I just feel like so often you're like, oh, red blend, it's just going to be, the profile. It's going to be really, really fruity and maybe some tobacco and vanilla intense notes. And this one is just like earthy and dry and interesting and unique, I think.
Yeah. Very impressed with this.
And what a cool shelf piece. I mean, seriously, you get sent like, if you buy this, like if you're a part of it, you get this like awesome Yellowstone box. And it's just like cool to have on your shelf and to have these wines. And like, it's kind of like you're getting a unique experience where other people aren't getting something that you're getting. I don't know. I think it's like kind of a cool thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely a collector's piece.
If you love the show, it'd be really neat to have this at your house. Yeah. And like to drink the wines and be like, oh, these are inspired by the show. Like the bottles are, the artwork on the bottles are, the whole box. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's very cool for fans to enjoy, or even if you're not like, if you're a wine person, these are great wines too.
Yes. As you know, Kels. I love wooden boxes.
He loves wooden boxes.
Having the Yellowstone kind of branding logo right on the top of this box, I just think it's really cool.
This is one that I won't burn. We'll keep this one. Because a while back,
so much.
When we were both still working at Trader Joe's, which now feels like a lifetime ago, he was writing the wine order, and we would get, around the holiday, we would get these just kind of the more expensive bottles, and they would come in the wooden crates. And he decided to collect every single one that he could, and we ended up with, I want to say, 30 of them, which I did use them for mantelpieces with like my Halloween decorations and things like that. So it's been helpful, but there were so many, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going to do stuff with it." And you never did anything. You never did anything.
I had good intentions, though.
No, they were great fires.
Yeah. Well, you've incorporated them into our Halloween.
I have always with the Halloween.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I do have plants sitting on some of them, which kind of gives us like cool kind of wine vibe to it. But other than that, you have burned many of them.
Yes. You did put a couple on the wall, too.
Yes.
Which was cool. But yeah, so we are loving this wine, and I just think it's something unique, and it's it's crazy. Like, people wouldn't think like there's this interesting stuff out there in the wine world that you can find, but now that we've really dove into this journey, like, we come across all this stuff, we're like, oh my gosh, how cool. So
yes. Yeah. So we will link everything so you can check out this wine club and be a part of it. Check it out, especially if you love the show and everything. So
yes, and we're sorry if you hear Rosie. TJ took away her toy, and now she's flipping out. I'm gonna get her a treat. Why don't you tell everybody about your new adventure?
Yes, so you can tell this is live, but so I have started a new venture. I have left the wine bar, and I have now started a new career at City Winery, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with City Winery. There's 15 locations around the country: Chicago, Atlanta, Philadelphia, New York. But it is a live music venue that also makes their own wine. Each location has their own winemaker. And so they kind of do this urban winery with live concerts. And the concerts can be comedy shows. They can be kind of tribute bands doing like brunches. They can bunch of different bands are coming.
Michelle Branch is coming.
Yeah, Corey Feldman is coming on his 40th anniversary. We just had one of the housewives of New York do like a Q&A
So it's
thing.
kind of like all over the map.
All over the place. So I'm the beverage captain there. So I'm kind of taking over their wine program with their cellar bottles and kind of doing wine tastings and kind of just everything wine and spirits and education. I'm kind of just helping the staff be more educated on kind of what is going on and what they have, and being that bridge to the customer too, and helping with customer relations, just pointing people in the right direction when it comes to wine and everything. So super excited to be a part of the City Winery team. And yeah.
I love how you just said kinda like so many times, because you're just like me when I say like.
Did I say kinda?
Yeah, you're like, I'm kinda, but it was cute. I'm like that. I do that with the word like sometimes, sometimes I can just get on this like light kick.
Yeah.
But it's when you're trying to describe something and it's like your filler word.
Well, and also I still have Rosie in the back of my head, just like I'm afraid she's going to come out and start barking or whining.
If she does that, then we just, keep rolling with it. Yeah, this is life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is life.
So tell us what's been going on at Trader Joe's.
Tell you what's been going on at Trader Joe's. Well, all the pumpkin stuff's about to come in.
Pumpkin Fest.
Yeah, so right now I write the grocery order, which is pretty cool. So, when you're going down that aisle and you're seeing all of the non-perishable goods with like the cans and the pickles and the condiments, soups. It's a pretty big aisle. I order all that stuff. So, at Trader Joe's, they're called sections. So whenever you go into a store and you look at the area that has like all the dry produce, or you go to a section that has all the nuts and the dried fruit. So there's these little sections all over the store, or big ones like the one I have now. And Trader Joe's actually is unique because, you know, they have every crew member will have a responsibility over that section. And, you know, I'm kind of a long haul Trader Joe person, employee, and I take a lot of pride in my job, and I love Trader Joe's. I love the company. I think I've really just found a home there in a lot of ways, and I'm very appreciative of it. I feel like it's honestly, I think it's hard to find really good employment. Like, I think it's hard to find a place where you're treated well, and yeah, and I've only stuck at one other job where I was at a job for 10 years, and then the other jobs in between Trader Joe's and that and the Gap was where I worked at the time. Every other job has just been like, wow, it kind of opened my eyes, you know, to like it's hard out there because, you know, you just might have a toxic work environment or whatever, but like Trader Joe's is very good about just like keeping us happy, and it's like fun too.
Yep.
And like I feel like I'm there and I'm like I can engage with like the customers and like, you know, my coworkers. Like we all work as a team. It's just, you know, and they're not coming down on us hard. But anyway, back to like the section thing. So I wrote grocery, and we're about to get all the pumpkin stuff for grocery. So like the pumpkin waffle mix, pumpkin butter, the cinnamon bun spread. Last year they came out with a cinnamon bar bun mix. And it went really fast. It was only around for a very short amount of time. And I was talking to like some of the managers today, and they were kind of saying like this year is going to be very like if you want stuff, like you need to really get it like immediately, because they're really trying to spread out the amount of, you know, how much they can allocate to each store.
Right.
So, you know, if you see an item that like you really are looking forward to buying this, and it's always Trader Joe's kind of, but I think, you know, if you're really like wanting a pumpkin item or a fall item or whatever this year, if I were you, the minute you see it, I wouldn't wait to buy it. You know, we've kind of always told people that, but if you see something you want, like buy it. Like don't wait to buy it. Like if you're in there, just get it. And so yeah, they have some new fun things coming out. I saw like a maple fudge was going to come out.
Oh wow,
which sounded good. And then they were going to do like what was it? Some sort of like fall trio like face thing. I don't know. That looked really cool. A lot of the stuff that's in like the Haba, which is where like the candles and the lotions and all that, that stuff, there's some really cool things like coming, cool gift ideas.
I bet.
But
I know anytime I see the gourds and like the pumpkins out, like it puts me in a good mood. Like then I know like fall is like it's here.
Well, and the harvest soup comes in, which is really good. The harvest salsa is really good. So I'm just excited. I can start ordering all my stuff, I think, tomorrow.
So when will it come in?
Oh, this week. A lot of it's all going to start to drop this week.
Wow.
So, which is kind of cool. I like that Trader Joe's like doesn't, like I feel like all these other companies started doing it like beginning of August. And I like that we're waiting like, well, no, like September is like.
I think it's a good time frame.
September. Yeah, totally a good time frame. I mean, I think you want people to be like more like excited and ready for it. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's here. It's kind of like, oh, like it's here, you know? And then the pumpkin kringle, you know, if nobody's tried the kringle, it's this really amazing Danish that has a filling that we get a couple different flavors a year. And it's from Wisconsin, and Trader Joe's has an excellent price on it, and it freezes so well. So, you know, my mother-in-law was always like, give me like 8 of those so I can freeze them, because she likes to give them as gifts, which is super fun. But yeah.
And they normally go for like $20 or $30 on the website.
Oh yeah,
and Trader Joe's has them for like $7.99.
They might be a little more this year just because everything is more expensive. But I still feel like for what you're getting, like it is like a homemade dessert. Like it is delicious.
It's so good. Like in the morning with coffee.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've been getting in like the feeling of all these things, and I don't know. There's something about when like holidays start and like the hustle and bustle of life and people getting to events and being in community together that like I really enjoy. And I don't know, customers they've been cool lately. So
yeah, you said you've had really cool interactions with the customers.
I have. They've just been like in good spirits. And I don't know, like you always wonder like, was there something going on in the air where people are in better spirits than normal? But I mean, usually I've told you we have really cool customers, I would say, for the most part. So yeah, it's rare that you meet somebody that's a jerk. Usually everybody's really nice.
Kelsey has introduced me to this show, or I think it was a series on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I actually talked to a coworker about this today. So this is funny.
Is it called the Blue Zone?
Yeah. Okay. So and this is it's funny that you
everything
said
that we talk about now, I'm just like Blue Zone.
Well, okay.
I'm in my Blue Zone.
So I have a manager named Ben. And you know Ben, like TJ knows Ben. Yeah. He's worked with Ben for like forever. I don't know how long, 11, 12 years. Yeah. So Ben's really into yoga. Ben's a health nut.
Yeah.
And I was like, Ben, I think I can get you into the show. He said, prove it to me. Because he's like, won't watch shows. And I was like, well, it's about centurions and people like how to prolong your life and these people that live longer. He said, oh, I mean, I'm so interested. I was like, yeah. So it's on Netflix and it was in the top 10, but I went past the preview and then I was like, oh, I want to watch this with TJ. And it's about centurions, so people that live up to 100 years, and that there's these areas like all over the world that are called blue zones. And so like this guy, he's been like studying like the reasons why these people in these specific areas are living to the amount that they're living. And yeah, why don't you say what you found interesting
about
the
it? Host is like an experienced like bicyclist or something. Like it's like trains. I think
he's just
like
done it his whole life. Yeah. He traveled like the world on a bike once or something like that. Yeah.
So he travels around to these places all over the world and he interviews these individuals that are nearing 100 or over 100. And there was this one dude and he was in Costa Rica. Uh-huh. They show this guy, looks like he's 70 years old, jumps on a horse. He's herding cattle. He's riding around, jumping off, using an axe, cutting up firewood.
He was going.
He was 100 years old. And he looked like he was 70.
I mean, maybe even younger with the way his body was acting.
Yeah. So every location that they went to, Italy, they went to Costa Rica, they went to Okinawa, all these places, they talk about like what is going on in that region, food wise, exercise. Like, one of them in Italy, it was like it was the men that were living longer there than anywhere else in the world. Well, and also it was like the altitude in which they were climbing in their village, like the hills and everything that they have to walk on a daily basis, which is
they walk on an
incline, which is adding to their health because little do they know it, they're exercising while they're walking to their friend's house up the road or something like this. So, and they do this whole wheel eventually of like food, exercise, family, laughter, this whole thing. And it's just been really, really fascinating to hear how all these things contribute. But then also, not to spoil it, but it also brings in at the very end how all these communities have now brought in fast food and things that...
Not all of them, but some of them.
No, but how the blue zones have started to decrease because...
The outside
modern influences and fast food and not eating healthy and not eating food from that terroir has kind of made the blue zone kind of shrink now.
Yeah,
people aren't living as long.
I think it was like in like 2 of them that they were starting to see it shrink, and it was with like bringing in fast food and stuff like that because, and it was just like incredible. Like they were saying these people are basically exercising without knowing they're exercising. Yeah, because of the terrain and where they live. I mean, the one that I think I was the most fascinated by was the one in Greece. I think it was pronounced like Ikara. And they had been living up until the 1980s without buying anything from a store. They made everything. They made everything. So like...
Because they didn't have the ships coming in bringing supplies, so they made everything.
So they said like their coffee was like garbanzo beans and like something else. Mushrooms. And then they showed the wine there too. So they were like, their wine is made and like the way they, I think, fermented it and the way they stored it was in the same way that they were storing wine since before Christ.
Right. In these ceramic vats that are kind of built into
the ground,
a hillside.
Yeah.
And it's like, they poured it and it was just unfiltered. There were
tons of sediment.
So many things.
Not tons, but there was sediment.
You could definitely see things.
But it was this
around.
Golden, beautiful color.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then they were talking about how like the bees that they had there, like the honey, it's raw honey. So like they also do something with their bees where like during different season, they'll actually move the hives. So they'll keep them like down below by the ocean at a certain time, then they'll move them up into the mountains. So the bees are actually getting the nectar from like different areas of the terrain, which in turn is like putting more nutrients into their honey.
Yeah.
And then they just eat it right off the honeycomb.
Yeah. And they were saying like it was basically just raw honey.
Yeah.
Like unfiltered.
I think in a way, I mean, it was amazing to watch, but it's also like, to me, it was a little like discouraging because I'm just like, I feel like, yeah, it's almost like becoming impossible to try to like live like that. And, you know, like they are naturally set up in these ways. I mean, even the ones we were watching in Costa Rica, like the mom, she was just like, my son is not going to get the same experience that I had, you know, because of these outside influences. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like, it's hard when it's like the powers that be, like see the money and the dollar signs. And, you know, it's like to us, we've talked about this. It's like, do they really, these big giant corporations like McDonald's and stuff, they don't care about our health. You know,
they're trying to make a buck.
I'm trying to make money, and they make money off of us not eating well and being sick. And so I don't know. It's like,
even you said sick. One of the communities, and I forget which one it was, Okinawa, they were putting money into, well, a lot of these people, there was no dementia.
There was no dementia in one spot.
Yeah. And then there weren't any nursing homes on one of the islands. There was no nursing homes.
I think I want to say it was Okinawa.
Yeah. So they were saying how they weren't putting money into kind of curing people and doctors.
The community would just take care of each other.
The community would just take care of each other.
Yeah. So they would check in on people. Like there was a woman that was a single woman. She was in her 90s.
Yeah.
She never had any children. And which was like, wow, like you always picture like you need other people, like your kin, your children to help take care of you to live to an old life. But it was amazing that these people just had each other's community. This woman had no children. She was never married. And she literally has the whole community of people that are looking after her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways, we
highly recommend this show.
Highly recommend that you check it out. Some of it, like anything, chew the meat, spit out the bones.
Yeah.
But it was a really good documentary, and it makes you start thinking about things.
Makes you start thinking about your own life and like what you should be trying to do every day to try to, I want to live a long life.
and just incorporating all those things. Like I said, it was like this wheel that they pull different segments from why this area is thriving so much.
Yeah.
And if you just took 20% of that, it would, I feel like, really change your life. So I don't know. It's just really encouraging. It makes me think. And now I'm all about the Blue Zone.
So now we're saying,
I'm all about the Blue Zone.
You're doing the Blue Zone, baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been doing the Blue Zone all day long.
Have you really? Yeah. What have you been doing?
Yeah, took Rosie for a walk.
Okay.
I worked out.
Okay.
Squatted a couple times.
Well, you need to be making...
I took the trash out.
Making bread.
That's what these people did.
Sewing clothes.
Sourdough.
Sewing clothes.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
I'll get there.
Anyway, so those are the things.
Yeah.
And we're super excited about fall. We're about to go on a trip to Georgia, our yearly wine trip that we usually take. And we're going with some friends. We're super excited.
Got the Airbnb booked, going with some good friends.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a time of laughter, Blue Zone.
Yeah.
Drinking wine, Blue Zone. Fun, Blue Zone.
You're funny.
And we're excited to go to Dahlonega Wine Country in Georgia.
Yep.
And we will have a huge report on the vineyards that we visit and hopefully a couple podcasts. We're going to go to Crane Creek, we know, and interview Peter, who is the awesome winemaker in Crane Creek, Younghurst, Georgia. But we're excited about our trip and just excited about everything that's going on.
Yeah, and just want to thank everybody that's been like listening to the podcast or following us on Instagram. And we're talking today just about like how encouraged we feel to keep going, and we really, really want, we want to continue with this podcast, and we feel like we think it could be something big in the wine community. And so, like, if you are listening, like, we would really appreciate it if you'd rate it, give us a rating, and just tell us how much you enjoy it, and share it with other people. That would really help us. Yeah, the more leverage and kind of things that we can do with the podcast, the more, the better guests we can get and everything. So we really appreciate your support, and please like it, rate it, share it with everybody. And we got some really cool guests coming up here in the future that we're excited about. And So cheers, everybody. Cheers. Check out 1883 Wine Club. Yes.
Blue Zone, Netflix, Trader Joe's,
So
City
good.
Winery.
Yeah.
Cheers.